Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. Well, I am the head social media foreman over here on this channel. And what I'm about to talk about today is probably one of the reasons why I felt it was good to start another channel, because I just have a lot to get off my chest. Welcome to all of you guys to the channel. If you are new here, make sure that you subscribe if you like the content, of course. And like on your way in, because that is how we get into the algorithm. We are a new channel. Shout out to you guys. We were able to reach all of the numbers in order to do super chats and all of that over here, just like we do on the main page. Wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys. So I thank you guys so much for your continuous support on both channels. I just got a few things to say. So I've been tussling with people over there on the Pam Esquire, the Law Intellect channel, in the comments since we watched the bond hearing yesterday. Just all these random people all of a sudden were like, I knew he didn't do anything. I knew they set him up. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew this. You guys have drug his name in the mud. You said that he wasn't married. You first of all, I've always said he's innocent until proven guilty. So let's just cut it out. I've also always said that his defense team should just go do whatever research that they need in order to defend and shouldn't do it on the internet. And some people think that it's personal, but first of all, it's not personal because I can tell by the conversations that a lot of people just don't have a clue. First of all, if you felt so adamant about Ernest Williams, and that's who we're talking about right now, because I got right in it, didn't even say his name. If you're so adamant about him and sticking up for him, I should have seen all these names before. You should have been in the live chat. You should have been windmilling for him. This is what he was saying. He was basically saying that it's going to be people coming out the woodworks whenever something happens. Like, I knew he didn't do it, and that's what you guys are doing. So that's the first thing why I'm half paying you guys any attention. Secondly, I don't mind an opinion, but at least have an opinion after some forethought. Don't just say things, throw accusations, call people out their names, saying they were biased. Oh, it was basically women that was doing it because they was mad. All of that stuff over one charge being dismissed. And I'm going to assume that it was dismissed without prejudice, which basically means if there is something to that, they can bring it back. My first point is this. We went over documents that the police said that they received, the information they received. They were documents that had to do with alleged evidence that they found, and also there were documents that had to do with physical testimony from people or what their account of in their complaints of what they said, which is how most cases start. So if there was a lie told somewhere, the police said it. It wasn't the bloggers that said it, because all we did was go over the document. That's that. So that part was just irritating me as well. So I had to get people together about that. I also had to get people together in the chat because, again, we don't know what the circumstances were for the dismissal. We reported it because it was there. We don't know why. We don't know if they're going to bring it back in a bit, because you guys have to also remember when the two cases got no lay price. And I'm just going to bring this to your remembrance. This is what they said when they were they said, motion to no lay price. Defendant was indicted on September 29, 2022 and charged with one count of theft by services, and on the same was also indicted. Now, these were indicted cases. Those first two cases that got no lay price, meaning the prosecutor has chosen not to prosecute, those went in front of a grand jury and there was an indictment. So therefore, the grand jury saw evidence. So for people to say there's just no evidence of none of this stuff is blowing my mind, because this was an indictment in front of a grand jury and they chose the no lay price. And then they gave their reason. They said, after additional investigation, defendant now has additional unindicted cases. And it says all of the cases arising out of Roswell. The White Collar Crime Unit, in collaboration with the Human Trafficking and Internet Child Exploitation Unit, intends to seek a new superseding indictment in this matter in the interest of justice and judicial economy. So that's allegedly why they were saying they dropped the two unindicted cases, because it was something bigger. So what in the world makes people automatically think? And I'm not saying, I hope he didn't do none of the heinous stuff that they're saying that he did. But it's just, let's just use logical thinking here. That's all I'm saying. Before you want to go back and forth with me and then say, oh, because you don't agree with what I say. No, I asked that people were posting different comments and I was responding with questions because I want people to think. Like they said, one person said he should sue everybody. And I said, and what exactly would be his causes of action? So then they respond, they took a while because I said, you're not making any sense. I'm sorry, you don't make sense to me. What exactly is he suing people for? And then the response was defamation. So then my response was defamation. Who the heck was defaming him? We read documents and there is specific, when it comes to defamation, when you read or you report legal documents, we all say they're just allegations until they're proven, but that's not defamation. That doesn't even fall into it. But at least let's have a intellectual thinking conversation. So my response were just questions. That was it. I said, and do you know if this case was dismissed without prejudice or with prejudice so they can bring it back? And then they just went off on me, whoever this alleged person was, because of course they don't have a name. Their name is always CP225599. They never have real names. It was, you sound like you're taking it personal. Like I said, you were wrong the way you were reporting it. What are you even talking about right now? I'm just asking you a question. So you're mad that I'm trying to make you be more thought-provoking with your conversation? And like I said, I don't expect everyone to know how the law works, but at least ask questions and be open-minded. That was my point. That's what I mean by unbiased. Be open-minded. Now, on the flip side, like I told somebody else, if you're telling me I have proof that this police department has a history or a pattern of practice under Monell, or that Monell is a case, or whatever, that they like to plant stuff in folks' phones, then and you showing me that, okay, that's a possibility. But to just say I knew he didn't do it is just ludicrous to me. It's like, what are you? When did you know this? Because you never said that in my chat. I never even seen half of you guys before. Like, what are you talking about? But yeah, I had time. So a lot of people just got blocked after a while, because what you're not going to do is just make it seem like because I'm responding with questions so you can be thought provoking, that I'm getting personally offended. I'm not, because why would I get offended by somebody that just came out the bushes after the fact? Because if you believe anything, like I tell my kids, you have to be, how you know you really believe something, if you're willing to be the only person that believes it. You need to be the only person that believes it. I can stand in my truth by myself. If I believe somebody is 100% not guilty, I fought out here in Windmill for people that I thought was not guilty by myself when everybody else was saying that they were wrong. So if you're not willing to stand by Nesto by your damn self, now that's one thing I give Sonya. She willing to sit out there by herself with the whole world against her. Then you don't really believe what you're talking about. So don't come up here later on because one charge was dismissed that we don't even know none of the information as to why it got dismissed and say, I told you y'all was wrong. Y'all drugged this man in the mud. This is what police do. Okay, that's nice. But what evidence do you have? I'm about evidence. I always tell you guys, what is your authority? That's why I bring up documents. That's why I bring up statutes. That's why I bring up case law because that's what authority is. My opinion, just saying something means absolutely nothing. So I just need some people in the chat to be a bit more. And then it's the same people that go under everybody's comments and got something to say. It's like, why are you don't even know what you're talking about. Deal with the marriage thing. Back, y'all said he wasn't even married. I was like, I never said he wasn't married. I think people may be relaying it in the wrong way. What I said was he was married to Shirley. I found documents that Martha tried to get a divorce. The divorce did not go through till 2021, but he was already married to Shirley in 2015. And I showed the documents. I did not say that he didn't marry her. Obviously, there was a ceremony. There were words of she saying they're married or whatnot. So I never said that. What I said was it may be easier for her because if he's still married, like was alleged with the first wife, that's who Chronicle Speaks talked to and had information on and had the certificate of marriage license. If he was married, then you need to get it annulled. And I said, and it never was, but you still have to go through the process. I've told people that over and over again. You have a marriage certificate that is filed with the state of which you reside. In order for that to be invalid, you still have to go through the processes, whether somebody was committing bigamy, married to 50 people, or whatever it was. You still have to go through the process. So I've never said she was not married. I said it looks like he was married to someone else based on the documentation. I showed my proof. It looked like he was married to somebody else, and therefore she would have to get that. She has to go through the divorce process or she can try to get it annulled. And I said annulment is better because it means it never was. When the courts annul it, you don't have to put that you were divorced. You can put you were never married. That's what I said. So I just need us to just be a little bit more thought-provoking over here. It's not personal, but some of them try to make it personal. Like you want to come take digs at me. And it's like, dude, I'm just telling you what the law is. And I keep reiterating what I do. And my husband can tell you. What I do is I try to get those that are innocent out of prison. If to me they can convince me, and after my research, I can see that they didn't do it, I help them get out. So I am the total opposite to say any of that too. But we based it on the information that the police had. Now, if the police fabricated evidence and y'all can prove it, I'm gonna report that too, because that's foul. I reported that I didn't think it was cool to be unindicted in a jail for all them years. Half of that stuff, he might have time served for the actual financial crimes. I said that. I also said that to get an expert to look at the computers, don't be out here windmilling, putting yourself in the situation. Like his conversations with Sonya, he was actually acknowledging knowing these people, acknowledging that these pictures could have been in the phone or the laptop. They came up with scenarios. What if I know for sure I ain't looked at nothing? I am going to. Sorry, my phone is connected to my computer. If I know that I didn't do like, oh no, you ain't gonna find that on my computer. I don't care. I'm not. That would be the end of my conversation. Not we're trying to figure out where could these pictures had come from. You had an old laptop. That had to be where it came from. No, it ain't on nothing of mine. If it was, I want somebody to do a forensic examination because I know it ain't on my stuff, period. So if it was put on there, they put it on there. And that would have been my stance, period. But it wasn't like that. So a lot of this, the way people are reporting on this is based on the conversations that Sonya has had trying to stick up for this guy. This is why I said just be quiet. Let's wait and see what happens. But then you guys just a lot of people just got gifts for my birthday. They were blocked. I was like, I don't even want to like where did y'all even come from? It's like it was a good 10 of them. And I'm the first one as a person that sues police departments and sues police officers individually, sue prosecutors' office. I've done all that. Sued the state. I sue whoever needs to be sued. I know what can happen, and I know fabrication can happen. I know witnesses can be prepped that didn't happen. I am not oblivious to it. But my issue, like I said, with this case is with Sonya and with him, he put himself in proximity of all of this stuff. He acknowledged knowing all of these people. He made excuses like it was relationships. He made excuses that, yes, the title got transferred, but it was for our business and we were business partners. He mentioned, and this is the call that we're going to listen to from yesterday, that little short call. You mentioned knowing who this person was because you knew their family, which again is a disconnect for me because according to the prosecutor, she met him at a gas station. So somebody is lying. I'm not saying that he lying. I'm not saying that she lying. But he's saying I've known them for 40 years. If I've known them for 40 years, then I would have known her when she was born. So why would I be meeting her at a gas station? So it's a whole disconnect when it comes to the SA charges or whatever. Let me look at your comment. You said his whole family probably watching you, Nyla. Real talk. They are, clearly. It's because of Pam that Nestor probably got facts to himself. Gwen said, if the pictures were on the computer before he bought the computer, how hard will it be to find the person who will not very hard. And then I heard something like he bought a police car at one point and the computer was supposed to be from the police car. I can't remember if that was one of her videos or if it was a phone call. But and then allegedly, I guess there was a person because somebody did send it to me. And that's more of a logical argument. They said that they had an article that it was a sergeant or something that was accused of child P, like in the computer, like or whatever in the computer. And he ended up being demoted or fired or whatever. And so it was an allegation that perhaps they were like, I know, Pam, it may be far-fetched, but there's an allegation of a police officer who's done this. And if he buying police cars, maybe that's a computer. That's more of a logical deduction. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying I wholeheartedly agree, but I can appreciate a deduction like that. But just to say, oh, they dismissed the charge. We told y'all that they just set him up. We told y'all it was a lie. He should sue everybody. I'm like, well, who is he going to sue? Because if they found pictures in his phone or in his computer or whatever device, that would be probable cause. And once they realize perhaps maybe they did forensics and the dates didn't match up and he had a receipt that he bought it or whatever, and they couldn't figure it out who put it in there and it was used, then perhaps they dismissed it. Or on the flip side, because we're going to do both sides, it can be, as this motion for the nolle pros says, that it's a bigger ring, and so they're allowing special units to deal with him. It could be either or, and we have entertained both sides. So to have people just come out and make it seem like, oh my God, like you guys owe this man an apology. I was like, wait for it, okay? You wait for Pam Esquire to apologize. I'm going to report it on both ends, good, bad, or indifferent. People ask me questions about how the law works. I was on Wisdom's Daughter last night, and they were asking questions on the platform, and that's what made me want to come on here and talk about it as well. But on that platform, a lot of those questions came up about whether it was dismissed with prejudice or without prejudice. And I'm like, we don't know. And I gave a story of there was a case that I had, and it was an unaliving case, and my client claimed self-defense. It happened at a gas station here in Detroit, and it was predominantly, I don't know if it was Chaldeans, whoever owned it, they went back to their home for like 3 months out of the year. So by the time we came to trial, it was the day of trial. They were out into their own country. And so the prosecution wanted to basically, hold off. They wanted to adjourn. Judge let them adjourn it. Come back a month later, they wanted to adjourn it again. We were like, no, like, you've had all of this opportunity to adjourn this, to get it together. That's not our fault. Your head witness isn't here. We want you to drop the charges. Oh, they dropped those charges without prejudice. And I'm going to say within 3 weeks, they brought them suckers right back. Within 3 weeks, we had to start the whole process all over again, which was worse because now you got to start with the preliminary examination. You got to do all that stuff all over again. And it ultimately went to trial and he got acquitted. But it was just a point of like that can happen. They can dismiss your cases without prejudice and they can bring them back. So I just want to wait and see what is going on with these cases. And I suggest that you do the same thing. Hey, Real Talk with Nikki. Can he get in trouble for attempting to contact the victim? That may be part of why when they said they don't understand why the alleged victim is scared. Do y'all think that this alleged victim or family members aren't looking at YouTube, aren't looking at the bloggers? If all of Nesto's family pretty much is looking at it and sees it, why do you think that the people that have accused him aren't looking and seeing our videos? But we'll get into that in the video. You said he definitely didn't want to have that charge on his jacket, anything else but that. I can't begin to imagine where a person could get CP from, especially the ones described. I thought you got hacked. Glad that it's not the case. No. We come here to get the facts, as Pam gets it and speaks intelligently about. And I may not always agree with what everybody says, but just be respectful. Like some of that where you got some things of how you say it is just like, and I can get a little snippy sometimes. So I'll take what I dish out, I'll take, but at least have some authority behind it. Because I'm gonna ask you, well, where did you get that from? That's why I ask people, send me the link. I didn't hear that. What document is that? DM me, email me. You guys heard me say that several times because I'm not just gonna take anybody's word for face value. I want authority. That's how I was taught. That's how I was trained. And so I didn't even get, like I said, I never got the warrants or the incident report related to those pictures at all. I never read that on my channel. Never. I only knew about what was alleged because people were asking me. They were just asking me, why does he have to stay away from dogs? And remember, you guys were laughing because I was like, I just thought, hey, because kids like dogs or something. And maybe they think he'll use them to entice them like candy. That's what I was thinking because I didn't even look at the warrant when it came to it. It was another platform that got the warrant and read it from the top to the bottom. And that's how I knew even what he was accused of. All I did was always mention what the charges were. And then when people would ask me, I'm like, well, this is what I heard, because I didn't even do that on my platform. At first, I didn't even talk about the RA. I just had the incident report where the young lady came in and accused him of it, and they were still investigating. And that's all I read. But then when that became a hot topic, I asked another YouTuber, I'm like, hey, you got this document? You're talking about it. Do you have the actual warrant? And she gave it to me. And that's when I actually talked about it on the channel. But You said he also said he got computers from the pawn shop and the little folks was with him. I heard that as well. There's always be more than one possibility of story. They need to just sit back and wait. Absolutely. And it may be when you have wrongful convictions, of course, I've had things in the handwriting of certain people, and they still deny it in a deposition. I never said that. So I'm not expecting any police officer to say, "Oh yeah, I fabricated that evidence." But that's your job. Like you look and you say, "Listen, I think this was fabricated." That would have been my response. Oh, that's not on nothing. Not you coming up with scenarios of how they could have got that on your devices. Because he did genuinely sound shocked when he found out about that. He sounded shocked, but it was like, and he was talking to Shirley about how he can't wrap his mind around it and all of that. But that would have been my response. But everybody's different. It wouldn't have been, I'm going to come out here and give explanations of how it could have got on there. And I kept saying that. I'm like, why do you keep putting yourself at the scene of the crime? Let them put you at the scene of the crime. I'd have been like, yeah, you'll see it'll all come out. Everything's recorded. I know that it is. And if anything, what he should have done, he should have wrote all that stuff in letters. Because we don't get the letters. You know what I'm saying? You should have wrote some of that stuff in letters. I guess people don't write anymore and sent it off. And then your defense would have been, but you already knew you talking on the phones, all of that stuff, that it was going to be heard. If it wasn't by us, necessarily the public, it would have just been by the prosecution. But I just can't believe that one drop charge just put everybody in a tizzy. They were just like, we told you. I knew something wasn't right. Well, when did you know that? Because I never seen you in my chat defending them. When did that come to when did that enter your imagination? And what evidence do you have? Nobody responds to that. I'm like, what evidence did they have against them? Huh? I was just asking questions. I'm like, before you come with these conclusory statements, because that's what it is, give me the facts that led you to that conclusion. And usually they don't have any. He said exactly just like old girl did in the video, connecting him to those credit card scanners, one of which is oh wow. See, I don't even know nothing about that, Andrea. You have to tell me of which blogger or whoever talked about that. I don't know anything about the credit card scanners. Steph, I'm just over here kicking it and ranting for absolutely no reason at all. No, I was just sitting here talking about the drop charge yesterday and just some of my comments over on the other page. That's why I said people like, why you start a second page? First of all, I think every YouTuber should have a backup, because especially when you talk about celebrities, they have especially my phone is ringing off the hook. The celebrities, they have the wherewithal to kind of get, you have issues with your pages. And so I think you should always get a backup page if you can. But for me, I do want to keep a certain flow on that page. But when I have these type of things, instead of me continuously typing these long dissertations in the comments, I want to just talk about it. Shoot. So we might just be kicking it over here. I want to be able to stream trials. I've gotten warnings for streaming trials on the other channel. So that's part of the reason why. Yep, it's still down a little from my understanding. I tried to look it up today. Nesto's prayer YouTube team believe that prayers will answer yesterday. I just want them to keep that same energy. I want everybody to keep that same energy. That's it. That's all I ask. Keep the same energy. I ain't saying prayer doesn't work, because it definitely has worked in my life. However, it first of all, let's be clear. You think that dismissal just happened yesterday? How you know that that dismissal did not just happen yesterday and this was all talks already was because there was a consent agreement. If you guys recall when Donald Trump and the RICO 19 or whatever they're called over there in Georgia, they all had consent bonds. That means their attorney was in contact with the DA and they had bonds that they agreed on. Therefore, the judge does not have to make a decision on bond because the prosecutor and the defense both agree. Two of those were consent bonds, which means there was some type of talk and negotiation. So that was something that was known. Now, how far in advance that was known, I think it not strange that the week before that same person had a title called Dismiss Charges, Reduce bail, and charges being dropped, reduced bail, and all of that. That was not a coincidence. So let's just like put it all together. That was something that she was told because she's found a way to get into a relationship with probably Sonya, who is aware of what's going on. Because we know the DA didn't say that. That's why when she was saying things like, you know, why they haven't indicted on the RA charge, they can't find her. How do you know that? I'm like, unless somebody told you that. That is not information that's going to be on the public website. That is not information that her family is going to reach out and tell, oh, that we can't even find her. So if you look at that whole video, it's very clear that a lot of this stuff was already either done in the works and they were advised of it. So to say our prayers worked is like, let's just stop. And so many people, they just believe that they are more saved than other people. Those are the people you mark and you watch. I'm God's favorite. Well, baby, I think I'm his favorite too. Sometimes I feel like I'm his first cousin. Now what? So like people that think they're more saved than you, mark them. Period. Those are the ones you watch. My prayers get answered more than his wife's. Like, just stop. Just stop. You can pray for him, intercede for him, turn your plate over, do all of that at your house. And why would that be what you praying for? If that's what happened, if that's really what happened, God, please, even though he's done it or may have done it, dismiss it. Like, what was that prayer looking like exactly? Don't get me started on that. So I'm whatever. Whatever. You know what? And I've heard some egregious things about this person that I promise you I don't even want to. I don't even want to believe. Let's just say that. When people were calling me, telling me about this, calling me personally. So these are people I talk to personally, telling me certain things. I was like, I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that. And see, because of that, it doesn't give, you don't let your good be evil spoken of. And it just, intertwining some of the things people allegedly know about you and then throwing Jesus in there, that doesn't sit right with a whole lot of people. That's not a witness. That's just my opinion. I don't even want to get into that because I don't want to be looking like I'm some type of basher. Oh, I don't know why I just did that. Some type of basher or anything, but because that ain't what my purpose is. Because again, she ain't did nothing to me personally. I just, when people show you who they are, you just believe them. That's it. Thank you, Katina. I appreciate that. You said ask Dennis, child. I was, man. You know how hard I was trying to keep Dennis from like not talking about her in public? How hard I was like, don't do that. Don't do her like that. That's just not nice. She over here crying on the platform. I don't know if it was over there. It was over somebody else. She's had a few little beefs and tiffs, and that was like, I thought that was a little weird. Having beefs with all these people is just crazy to me. But I don't know if it was Dennis because I asked her once. I'm like, is everything okay? And it was like somebody on YouTube, she said, had been bothering her for years or something. I was like, oh, well, I hope you feel better. Cause I was concerned. Cause I was like, you on your platform, crying where she had to get off of the platform. And I'm thinking, like, y'all gotta stop. That's not cool. You can't be bullying people. That was what my thought process was. But then things just started unfolding, and I was just asked Pam, can you just sit back and watch? And that's what I did. But I'm like, Dennis, don't do that. He like blocked her on Twitter, screenshotted it, showed everybody they blocked her, saying she not a real. He was going in. I was like, dang, Dennis. This Queen Black said a lot of content creators was taking up for her. He dragged her. He got videos, baby, that was horrible. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that it was very interesting, some of the beefs that I saw, because I honestly thought perhaps she was upset with Dennis, and so that's why I DM'd her like, hey, is everything okay? And because I was gonna be like, nah, I'll talk to him, and be like, man, leave this lady alone. And it was somebody totally different. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry that's happening to you. But yeah, you said he's still tracking her. That's your opinion. You're entitled to that, Snoop Doggy Dog. That's not my experience with Dennis, so. But you're entitled to that. Seems like everyone was warned except me, Aaliyah. Ah, maybe she did sunflowers. Maybe she did pray for the victims as well. KK Bonita said there was something about a tracker on a car. Did you hear that? I did not. And see, that's what I'm saying. I literally try to stick to the documents. I try to make sure that I'm there for the hearings, or at least have them recorded, or I try to stream it, get permission from the court so that I can stream it. And so that's kind of been my focus. Now, some of the other channels, like I said, with Nyla and Love Lies and Lace Fronts, and Real Talk Bougie and Wisdom's Daughter, like, they dig a lot deeper. They dig in a lot deep. They find out who the people are. They find out where the locations are. They find out, as you've seen, employees have been interviewed. I haven't dug that deep. And I will be woman enough to say I don't know every aspect because I have not looked. So if you guys can advise me or tell me where to look, then I'll definitely look at it. His security company has surveillance privileges. I don't know. Wait a minute. Wait. Yes, apparently he put a tracker on the car he gave the SA vet. Oh, oh wow. Andrea says she says there aren't any victims, so I doubt she prayed for them. It wasn't for their good. Wow, I haven't heard that, because there's still these financial crimes. And I'm gonna go over, I don't know tonight because we're supposed to be going someplace, but definitely tomorrow, if not when I get home. I'm celebrating my birthday all week, so I'm out of here in a few. But I do have, when, because people keep talking about him suing. Ernesto is not new to this. He is true to this. I do have a document of when he tried to sue, when he was in prison in federal court. Also, the bank fraud, I believe, is what he was in federal prison for. I have that indictment. So that's why when I hear some of these stories about when it happened and what it was, it does not match up to the documentation. And he's alleging he was innocent all the time. And I believe he pled to the federal case. So he said he's innocent in everything. He ain't do nothing. But I guess that would contradict Sonya because Sonya is blaming it on when he was young, saying that he was young and dumb. So that would kind of contradict that you were innocent and everything. Because being young and dumb, you kind of say, I did it and I did dumb stuff. And that's why I did it when I was a child. I spake as a child, but now that I'm older, I put away childish things. That's basically what you're trying to say. So that's why I said the conversations that they have, I'm saying it was more detrimental to him talking to her. Because, like I said before, if you guys look at it, he only needed Shirley. I'm sorry. At the beginning, like I could totally understand picking up Sonya now, like last July, because he didn't have anybody. But to risk that perhaps she tries to come up there or the lawyer tells her about Sonya and all of that, I think was dumb for him because she had your back. She was praying with you. She was giving you scripture. She was encouraging you. She was telling you not to give up. She was saying, they don't have anything. I don't understand why they're keeping you. They don't have anything. She was like your biggest cheerleader, and she had the purse. She can help you financially. He didn't need none of these people because she was paying for it. She would put money on his books. She was trying to do it while she was on the phone call with him. She paid thousands of dollars for an attorney that he didn't even want her to talk to. If that whole scenario doesn't tell you what type of a person that he is, and again, I'm not saying just because you are a garbage person as a man, in my opinion, that you don't deserve due process and you don't deserve your accuser to have to prove their evidence that they have against you. He definitely does deserve that. And if there is something nefarious and if there was some implantation of evidence or it was exculpatory evidence they withheld from you or it was all fabricated and they know that it was fabricated, then yeah, I think you should. If you can prove that it was fabricated, then yes, you should file a lawsuit against the police departments and all of that. But for people to try to blame bloggers is ridiculous to me. She was being a wife of a husband who's incarcerated. She was going broke trying to help him. He ran towards evil. That was interesting too. You believe in God and you praying, but she says, I don't believe in God. And that's who you want on your team? That's a very interesting choice. She was going broke trying to help him, yes. And he talked about it. He said he's an idiot. Like and this has nothing to do with we can take away all of his cases, all of his accusations, and the way he moved showed his personality. You had a woman that was there for you. And you said, let me hang up with her talking about Job. You sure is right. That's exactly what it is. She told you were Job, and this too shall pass. She told him every day, this too shall pass. You're having your Job experience. She's hiding you. So nobody even knows that you're in jail for real. Well, she didn't purposefully disclose that because she told one of her friends who let Steve and them know allegedly, but this is what she was doing. And every time you were asking for, she's, hey, honey, love you so much. I mean, come on. And then you hang up and you like, I sure like that you let me be the first one to touch them breasts. That's what you want. So you show who you were. So I can understand people not liking him as a person, but over on that platform and on this platform, we pull up the documents. And if they have hearings, whatever is said in the hearing, we'll talk about that too. Whatever gets filed, whenever the system comes up, we'll talk about that as well. Yeah, TA said, I love true crimes. I'm just following the true crime story. The truth will come out. Absolutely. When a grown woman says those children were shaving, adults almost hulked out and smashed. I could not believe it. Yeah. That was very interesting. I'm telling you, you say you found that in my computer or my phones, I'm gonna tell you you would lie. That's what I'm gonna tell you. You're making it up as you go. But let me get into this because I do have to go. I do want to go over this video that everybody was talking about from yesterday. Let's see. The short jail call. That's what it is.
Did you wake up yet?
No, I'm good. I'm up. Hi.
Okay. How long you been up?
Me too. 5 minutes.
Okay. So I was just sitting around trying to remember this lady number that I know. They're familiar with this person I'm talking about. So I might gotta get you to call it, but I gotta get you call it so I can talk to them. Yeah, and if that's the right number, then I gotta get you a record while I talk.
No, it can't talk to people.
No. They start talking to individuals.
Well, indirectly, anybody indirectly, anything indirectly to do is okay, you can, but anybody that's directly, you can't talk to nobody that's directly involved with your case.
Now, I have to tell, that is true. You can't really you're not supposed to talk to people that's connected because it could look like some type of intimidation. And you don't even want the look of impropriety when you're being accused of stuff like that. But I think it's interesting that his first thing was, let me make a phone call. I need you to call this person. Did he say he wanted to record it? Let me see real quick.
Anybody indirectly,
I gotta get you a record while I'm talking.
Did he say a recorder?
Because you call it so I can talk to them. Yeah, and if that's the right number, then I gotta get you a record while I'm talking.
So he was trying to see if they had the same number and then record the conversation of whoever he was trying to call related to this case.
No, it can't talk to people.
No. They start talking to individuals.
Well, indirectly, anybody indirectly, anything indirectly to do is okay, you can, but anybody that's directly, you can't talk to nobody that's directly involved with your case.
Right, that's right.
Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. She said anybody that's indirectly involved, you can, but you can't talk to anybody directly involved. No, you should not talk to anybody, period, that is connected to this person at all. Now, once you are indicted, you perhaps can get an investigator that investigates certain people that you feel can be witnesses because that's how you get your witness list. You may be able to do it when you're unindicted. I'm not sure. But it shouldn't be you're accused of it, but you're going to reach out to people in her circle because they're going to tell her, Ernest reached out to me. But on the flip side, it's clear too that he must think that whoever this person is going to help his situation. You know what I'm saying? Whoever he was going to call.
That's just for unless you're a witness for the defense.
Right. That's right. This is a witness. This is a witness. If it's the right number. But I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was going to try it anyway just to see if they pick up. So if not, then that ain't it. But, yeah. But also, I thought about, too, how to get my defense together. I got to get Pinocchio or somebody to go ahead on and fight.
So was he saying that it was, or was it just an assumption? Was he saying that this is somebody related to this young lady, or are we just kind of assuming that? Because I didn't get that out of this conversation. He just was saying this is a witness. Do we know who the witness is? Anybody? Anybody in the chat? It was her grandmother? Okay. Black Hourglass said it's the grandmother, and Aaliyah said it's okay. So I need to just hold my horse's tongue because I only listen to the first part and then So now you guys know I ain't listened to the whole thing for real. Okay, got you. Okay, y'all know. Okay. Thank you for helping your girl out.
To get my property back. Because I see what they're doing. They're trying to keep me from getting out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. So I got to get my.
But it still don't make sense for what they're charging you this far. It still don't add up to why you took my property.
No, they don't. So I got to get that back so I can sell it and pay for my.
What property is he trying to sell that he can actually pay for lawyers and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the date you said was February the 8th.
No.
Huh?
February 3rd.
3rd.
3rd. 1.
February 1st?
February 3rd, 2021.
Okay.
And then the other one was the day before your birthday, 2019.
Right. Okay. February 1st. That makes sense to me. That's a month away. So I'm trying to figure out where my place is at. Where my place is at and where was I at at that time. So
when I got out of the hospital, February 1st. And then 2019, he was in California.
Yeah.
Well, she know more about where he was at than he knows. Like, I got out of the hospital February 1st, and then you were in California in 2019.
So I'm trying to figure out how that gonna correspond together. How can they charge me some for some? I don't know. I gotta wait on
Well,
it.
they charged you for something you didn't do.
Right.
But it's even worse if you wasn't even in the city.
Right.
They're trying to charge you for. You're trying to charge me something I wasn't even in town for. Right. And I didn't do it. Well, more importantly, you ain't do the shit. Wherever they trying to say it happened.
You see how she always just has his defense ready? He like, right. And a lot of times, and I can say by looking at some of the things that Ernest has been through in the past, he knows she's not accurate on some of the stuff. But that's what he wants to believe. That's why I said I really believe that a lot of this, they really believe this stuff. It's like you guys have kind of brainwashed your own self to believe this stuff.
Happened. I didn't do it. But I definitely wasn't even really in town to do that. The thing that will correspond the best way is your phone records against their phone records, whoever is accusing you. So I got to be at the same place at the same time that they said it happened. But they said it happened in February. Your phone and her phone got to be at the same place.
Right. They do.
I mean, the proof is, other than my words, that I give it. Because we needed a kit, which I'm sure that there is no kit because it was never a. So
why do you think that your phone has to be at the same place? Now, this leads me back to Hazel. What was very interesting about Hazel's interview, if you guys want to, believe what she said, again, it's all allegedly. But one of the things she said is that when they went places, which I thought was very interesting, he took their phones. This is what a lot of celebrities do because they don't want you recording and taking pictures. They take your phones and they have you cut it off or whatever. Typically, you cut it off. But in this situation, Hazel said the phones go in the freezer because he was told that if it's in the freezer, they had to shut their phone off, I believe, and put it in the freezer because people can't track you. So I don't think saying that the phones is going to be evidence is going to work because all they have to do is I would bring her in just for that purpose to try to say, oh, the phone. I had a case where you guys probably like, child, you done had a case about everything, but I had an unaliving case and it was about 4 or 5 defendants. It was 5 defendants, then one of them snitched and turned on all of our clients, but they were alleging, the prosecution argued. Now they can argue without even having concrete facts of what they're saying. They could just be an inference. So they argued because they couldn't track my client to the actual unaliving scene. that the phone was cut off. They said, oh, he was smart. You know why we were able to track the other three? We were able to. We have the AT&T accounts. We have the phone records. We have the footprints. But him and his co-defendant, it was two of them that they couldn't track. They were best friends and they were smart. They turned their phone off. So there was no action and we didn't know where they were at because they turned their phone off. That was their argument in trial. And you can infer stuff like that without any information, knowing that that was the truth. It's up to the jury to decide. Are we going to believe him that is basically saying he just wasn't there, that's why you didn't see his phone, or the prosecution saying the phone was cut off? He's lying. Somebody in the prison got the number for him. He ain't how remember that girl number. You said, yep. Hazel said the phones went to the freezer. What she allegedly experienced was wild. Yeah. You said, Leandra said, well, you know his favorite phrase. It's not like I unalive someone. Well, not in the physical, but if you are accused of taking away someone's dignity and you actually did it, again, he's innocent until proven guilty. Some people feel death inside for things like that. So I guess it depends. That's why that type of a charge is up there. You can get life in prison. And it just was a Supreme Court case that took away the death penalty, because in Georgia, you can get the death penalty for it. Now they have to pass away it's like felony murder. So you have to basically, you're in the midst of arraigning them and then they end up dying. That can get you the death penalty, but it's not just the act all by itself anymore. Sure, I don't know, Santavia. I have no clue. That was what Hazel said. Go over there and watch her video. She said that's what she was told. I never Googled it, so I have absolutely no clue. If anybody has any information, let us know in the chat. If you if you have any information on the truth or falsity of this statement, please let us know. I know when you cut it off, you may have issues if you cut it off. Now, somebody said if you put it in the freezer, you still can do Find My Phone and all of that. I don't even know if they had all of that at that time, or if you have to cut it on as well too. Everybody doesn't have where, the locations. I have that for my kids, but let's go. I just thought that was interesting that Sonya Luther King was like, and then they can find out because your phones, if they're in the same place, they would have to be at the same place on the day that she's saying it. Because if they're not in the same place, that's assuming that they didn't make sure that it was no way to show where the phones were. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. She's trying. She's a thinker. She's a thinker. I'll give it to her.
They don't have any shit because it was never no. All of the shit they talking about is just making up because they're fucking mad.
So, okay, but still, how can they charge you with that shit?
Man, they do that shit.
Wow.
They do that shit off of somebody's stupid ass word. They do that. They're coming there crying and making it sound so believable. They'll watch the story on TV and come go to the police and say it and repeat that shit like it was them. And they'll just sit there and be like, for real? Yes, and he did this and he did that.
Hold on. Don't get my tray. Don't get my tray.
No.
Yeah, let me get my tray. I'm waiting on this verdict. Wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want at least call. I want at least call the number and see if anybody else.
This is
the grandmother.
No.
I've been knowing these folks here almost 40 years. I don't know how I remember this damn number. But they got
that. Some people never change their number. Some people never change their number.
Okay. Are you ready?
Oh, the phone, yeah. Look at them. Hang up on them?
Huh?
I'm going to call them and they're going to say hello. And I'm be like, is this yeah, okay, click.
Who?
What am I calling and do?
I
You
want
going to
to
start talking to them?
yeah, I want to see if she is that her number.
Why don't you just wait to find out what?
Huh?
Why don't you just wait to find out what is?
Okay, all right, okay. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. Okay, all right, you're right. I'm gonna wait because I can't think of that. I can't think of nothing where nobody can even say no shit like that. Nobody.
It's just somebody that's mad at you. That's all. So whoever's
Nobody.
pissed off at you,
Well,
they do feel like that.
yeah.
It's a treacherous world out here, and it's fucked up with how the system is that you can accuse somebody of something and they run with it like it's true.
That is a very good point. She said, but he didn't remember Shirley's number, but he know that stuff by heart. That's very interesting. Very good point. And it's just her. It's cool to support someone, but it's her whole bandwagon. Like people just run with stuff, and they're just liars, and she's just a liar. But then she got on somebody's platform and said she's never called these people, never called the girl a liar. You absolutely have on multiple occasions. Cause one of the things you said, one of the videos that we went over, you said she probably regrets that she went and told this lie. And so now she ran away. She might not even be in this country. She might have left out of town or something. That's what she said. That's basically saying she regrets that she lied. And she like, oh shoot, I lied. I was mad and I just lied because they were really mad at you for whatever with her parents or whatever story they came up with as to why the girl was mad. Now you're basically saying people shouldn't be allowed to come down there and just make up stuff. How do you know if you weren't there? These are such ballsy statements. Like you weren't there. Now, are there inconsistencies in this case? Yes, because like I said, I recall they about to do a verdict. Sorry, I'm watching the Jennifer Crumbley case. The verdict is in. But as you recall, like I said, now on this one, you're talking about some I don't lost thought. Sorry. All my colleagues are texting me because we've been waiting on this verdict. So excuse me. But on the hearing, like I said, on the bond hearing, the prosecution gave a whole different scenario than what the actual what they're saying. How he knew them for years. The prosecution is saying something totally different. They're saying that she didn't know him and she met him at a gas station and she wanted to do hair. And he said, I can help you. And I'm married to Shirley Strawberry and she can get you where you need to get. So you guys, if you guys don't know about the Jennifer Crumbley, we got to take a quick break. So if you guys don't know about Jennifer Crumbley, we had a school here in Michigan, Oxford, where her son came in and unalived some students and injured some students with the GUN. The case has had a bunch of twists and turns in it. They have prosecuted. The son has already pled guilty and he's doing life. Life on life on life. So he's not getting out. However, this time they wanted to hold the parents accountable. So now the mom and the father are on trial. So the mom had her trial last week and why is my phone blowing up like this? The mom had her trial last week and now we're waiting on the verdict and they're here. They're here. I might have to put that on. Hold on, Nesto. Hold on. Since you guys on here with me. Let me see if I can find it. We all over the place with this. You probably like, I gotta watch this verdict, y'all. This is deep. How your if parents will end up being held liable. We're gonna talk about that, Tracy. I know the attorney for the father. I don't know Shannon, but I've known of her. So that's really how she is. Like, That's really how she is. She's a little all over the place. All right,
All
guys.
right,
We
court is
gotta
now
take
in
a
session. The Honorable
little
Jonathan
break.
Matthews presiding.
I got my heart. This is the worst.
Your Honor, calling people versus Jennifer Crumbley, case number 222799990.
Lady, stand up.
Good afternoon, Karen McDonald on behalf of the people.
Thank you, Marquise, on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, I'm Shannon Smith on behalf of Jennifer Crumbley, who sits to my left.
All right, are you ready for the jury?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask when the jury reads their verdict. After that, I want everyone to remain seated.
I'm sorry. CCB said I'm nervous. Me too.
I really want the audience to stay seated after the verdict's filed after that.
This is the most nerve-wracking time to stand there with your client and wait for a verdict. The worst.
All right, for the jury.
Good afternoon, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been informed that you got a verdict. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Are you the court person?
I am.
Could you please read your verdict?
Individually?
Sure.
Okay. On count one of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count two of involuntary manslaughter in regards to Tate Muir, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count three, as to involuntary manslaughter regarding Hannah St. Juliana, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. And in count four of involuntary manslaughter against Justin Schilling, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Thank you for allowing me to be seated.
Wow.
Juror in seat number one, was that and is that your verdict?
It is.
Juror in seat number two, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number three, was that and is that your verdict? Yes. Juror in seat number five, was that and is that your verdict? Yes. Juror in seat number six, was that and is that your verdict? Yes. Juror in seat number seven, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number eight, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 11, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 12, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 13, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 14, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 16, was that and is that your verdict? Yes.
Thank you
Wow.
very much, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that this is one of the hardest things you've ever done. I'm going to ask you to return to the jury room. The two remaining alternates are also going to join you, and I'll be with you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All rise for the jury.
Wow.
All right, you may be seated. Time as we go. And
I'm back for sentencing.
April 9th at 9 o'clock in the morning for sentencing effect.
This should be fine, Judge. Thank you.
Tomorrow?
April 9th at 9 o'clock is fine, thank you.
I'm going to ask everyone to remain seated while the defendant is taken out of court. Right?
All rise.
Wow.
You may be seated.
Jennifer Crumbley there just exiting the courtroom.
Wow.
This, of course, is a groundbreaking case.
Whoa.
We just heard the verdict read aloud in court for Jennifer Crumbley, guilty.
Jeez. And you know, this is when they said it's a groundbreaking case, it really is. We've had several school shootings and the parents have not been held responsible. I do believe this was a little bit different because there was proof that this child had mental health issues. He was telling his parents that he was hearing voices, that he saw not ghosts in his room. He was saying he needed help. They found diaries of him saying, I'm telling my parents that I'm hearing voices and everything, and she's ignoring me. They don't care about me. He told his friends about this. And she's saying that, and she suffered from anxiety herself. She was on pills. So it's not like she was oblivious to mental health. And so and then that day, there were drawings. There were drawings that he had up that the teacher found the day of the actual shooting. This is what's crazy for those of you guys that don't know this story. The boy drew guns. The boy drew a body with blood, and the teacher found it. Was concerned, called the parents, went to the office. She came down there, the mom. They basically said put him in counseling for a couple of days after what the school did. Do you want to stay or you don't want to stay? He said he wanted to stay. So she let the boy stay. Unbeknownst to everybody, there was a gun in his backpack. So the mother actually came down to the school that day and could have took him home. If so, it's the school's fault as well, because they should have made him leave. And he shot up people. And they showed videos of the kids going in stalls screaming. And they said they couldn't believe that it was him because he was just a quiet guy. This is crazy. And like I said, my friend Shannon actually represents the father. So I'm gonna be watching that one. I might actually stream it. I mean, not my friend Shannon. That's Shannon right here. I don't know her. Mario. Mario is somebody I went to law school with. And she's representing the father. Now, the mom's defense, a lot of it was she blamed the father and said that he was the one that this is crazy. He was the one that gave him the gun, bought the gun for him and all of that. But that is something they do up in Oxford and what they do up north here. A lot of them they go hunting with their parents. They take them to the range. It's not uncommon for people that are GUN holders or enthusiasts or whatever you want to call it that they train their kids on gun safety and all that. That's not uncommon. Karen McDonald, who was the prosecutor in this case, she actually used to be a judge. And then she ran for prosecutor. I think she's a better judge, but that's just my opinion. I've been in front of her. I think she was a good judge. But she's the prosecutor in this case, and she chose to bring it. A lot of people thought it was political. I was surprised the NRA and some of these gun societies weren't trying to help with this because this is precedent now. Whenever this happens, they're going to try to put parents on the hook for this. That's why I said this one is a little mixed because to hold parents accountable for everything your kids do, I think it's a slippery slope. But in this case, I think they did show evidence that he was showing he had some mental health issues and he wanted help. And they didn't give it to him. So it's I know that jury. I would be curious to see why the jury came up with their decision because it did take them a day and a half to come up with the verdict. People need to stop thinking giving kids these guns. Kyle Rittenhouse may have been found now guilty, but his life will never be the same. He is young and just beginning. That's what Sarah said. Daniel said about time they start charging parents. I'm not, oh my goodness. Yeah. Considering that he is a minor and he wanted help, why is he now serving life? He took more accountability than anybody. The mom, I didn't like her defense. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Again, she is a fellow colleague of mine here in the state of Michigan, but I didn't really care for Shannon's defense. She basically was saying, she made it like her mom was a helicopter mom. You know what helicopter moms are, that you're, where you at, what you doing, how you are. Like she really was, almost made it seem like she was a better mom than what Shannon made it seem like this mom was a better mom than her, is what she was saying. And she said she's always there. But then the prosecution, they put out evidence that showed the mom liked horses and she spent 50% of her income on horses. When the horse needed medication, when they found them, when the mom and them allegedly fled because they knew that they were wanted to be arrested for manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, when they fled, the mom had medication in her purse for a horse. So, of course, that's good information to put out as a prosecutor, like you cared more for the horse than you cared for your child. When your horse is sick, you took them to the vet. When your horse needed whatever they needed, you made sure they were okay. But your child cries out and says that I need help. And you're like, no, I don't think he really needs help. Nothing's wrong with this kid. He's normal. Then they found out she had an affair. So that came up to the affair that she had. The guy came and testified. So she was spending some time with the guy, obviously with an affair. So they talked about, you just weren't there for your kid. You neglected your child. Then they showed a video of her being at the range with him where he was teaching her how to use the gun because she didn't even really know how to. But of course, the defense utilized that, which was smart, to say, well, that's what he was into. So I went to the range because I wanted to spend time with him. But most of their texting calls between her and her husband was about the horses. And they showed that it was very little information that they talked about related to the kid. It was a lot of jacked up evidence. It really was. You said a helicopter lie. So when the dad testifies with Mario, because Mario's a better attorney, I'm a stream it over here. And then you guys can see from the beginning what I'm talking about, and all, because most of the evidence, they were together the whole time. All the motions, they took it to the Court of Appeals. I'm sure she's going to appeal this. All of the motions, everything or whatever, they've done it together. If you guys see, they're both were together. But when the time of trial, they bifurcated it. So they separated. And they probably bifurcated it because they had an antagonistic defense, meaning that the mom was going to point the finger at the dad. So they shouldn't be sitting next to each other in a trial with the same jury. But Mario has probably studied everything Shannon has done, and she's going to do a different approach. Shannon was very informal, like she was talking to your homegirl. Like how I talk to you guys on here, there are moments where I might get real serious, but for the most part, I'm just Pam. So because I'm just Pam, I just kick it. But when I'm in court, it's good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please this honorable court. My name is Pam. You know what I'm saying? Like you turn, yes, Your Honor. We'll judge. MCL 2.555 says so and so and so, respectfully, like you have a whole different decorum in court. You don't act like you do. She was up there like, yeah, you guys. I mean, I was listening to Taylor Swift on my way in, and I was like, I don't own any. This is what she said in her closing, and I'm not lying, guys. She said, I don't own any guns, but I own butcher knives. And what if, God forbid, one of my kids takes the knife and they put it in there and they go and they decide to butcher people? Am I going to be liable for that? Because I was like, what? Then a problem I had with Jennifer Crumbley, and I got off on the tangent. I got to get off in a minute because I got to leave with David too. But I got off on a tangent. But a problem I had with Jennifer Crumbley is she was asked the question on if she could do anything different, would she do anything different? And she said no. I was like, she going to jail. I told all of my friends when she made that comment, I was like, she's going to jail. So now they're all texting me like, man, you called it. I was like, she's going to jail. There is no way that you have 4 people who have lost their lives, for young people who weren't able to get married, have kids, have a career, give their parents grandkids, couldn't even graduate. Some of them was graduating or whatever. It was about 4 of them, I believe. And you say you wouldn't have done anything different. You would, yeah, hindsight being perfect vision, I definitely would have took him home. I definitely would have gave him the help that he needed. I would have went there and I would have stopped doing everything I was doing. I would have quit my job just to make sure that I was there for my child. That's what you say. You don't sit there and say, oh no, I wouldn't do anything. In fact, I'm a victim too. That's what she said. The lady says she's a victim because she's lost everything because of what her son did. That's what that lady said on the stand. So if you guys are interested, when the dad has his trial, we'll try to do that from the beginning. I travel a lot this month, but I'm a definitely, if I can't, then I'll make sure the link is there and we can talk about it over here. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. But like I said, I don't really care. Shannon actually represented Nasser, who was the guy that was at U of M and was the gymnastics coach that was touching on all these people. And I think he also did the Olympics as well. She represented him. And you see, he got a quadrillion years. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Wow. Blondie said the kid said the parents never said they love him. That is so sad. He was found super guilty. Yeah. You're interested? All right, you guys interested? We'll definitely do it. We'll do it over here too. All right, let me see how much time we got left because I might not have time to do it. Okay, let me hurry up and get these last 2 minutes because I gotta leave.
All them conspiracy charges is stupid and false. So, let's go through some other stuff. People get charged with a lot of shit they was nowhere around to do.
Yeah, this is true.
Nowhere around to do.
This is true. But
So,
life be so fucked up. Life is just so fucked up.
I know.
I'm trying to be strong.
She said she doesn't even believe the conspiracy charges when you totally see Erica sitting up there acting like she was April on those Zooms. So she don't believe anything.
Trying to be strong. Ain't no lie to you.
Listen, people, men especially live on eggshells because you just don't know when somebody's going to just flip out and lie on you and just tell a tale. You really I really drill my son on that. You really got to be cautious. Really got to be cautious. I had a conversation with him today. He said, that's fucked up. I always tell you that you got to be cautious of who you deal with. And anybody that's just a liar, female that just like to lie, stay the fuck away from them. It's just a matter of time for they lie on you.
Can I eat this food and call you back later on?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, they don't say much after that. Thank you guys for rocking with your girl. I just wanted to get in where she said basically sounds like she don't believe that the conspiracy charges is true. She don't believe nothing is true. But yeah, so that was the breaking news. 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter on a Jennifer Crumbley. I'm sure I will have every single colleague that I know calling me about this because I told them she was going to be found guilty when I heard her testify. I was like, oh no, they're not letting her walk anywhere but back to the annex over there in Oakland County. That's the only place that she is going on today until they find her permanent home for the next 10 to 15 years. They'll probably do a consecutive instead of, well, no, they'll probably do it concurrently. So that hopefully they'll probably have it running at the same time. So say, for instance, she gets 10 years for each count. Manslaughter is lower, obviously, than second degree or first degree murder with the years. And she doesn't have a record, so it'll be based on her sentencing guidelines. But what I did want to say before we got off about the Jennifer Crumbley thing, before we get off, because I keep forgetting to say this, but when the son was doing his allocution is basically you talk about what's great about your client and you let your client talk on why they should get leniency and all of that. The son actually said, whatever these parents want, give it to them because I can't bring their kids back. If they want me to spend life in prison, let them have me go to life in prison. They want me to die in prison, let me die in prison. And part of that sense of reality is probably because he is on the proper medication or whatever that he should have been on before. He probably has seen a psychiatrist before that has given him what he needs. But he stood up there and said, I am so sorry. Whatever the parents want me to have, that's what I want my sentence to be. That's what that young man said. But then you had the mom saying, I didn't do nothing wrong. If I had it to do it all over again, I know there's bodies on bodies. I know parents go through birthdays that are hard. They go through Christmases that are hard. Mother's Day will never be the same. But I wouldn't do anything different because I've lost everything. I've lost me. I've lost everything. Anyway, guys, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully, like I said, maybe tomorrow, but I got a few things to do on today, as we do got to go over that civil case. Thank you guys for rocking with me. It was about 600 of you guys. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Thank you guys again for helping me to get this channel up and going. And again, we just going to talk about whatever. You see how fast I just went on ahead and switched over and put on a whole verdict watch? That's the random stuff I want to do sometimes, but I just try to have a flow on the other channel. So this be a little bit more informal. And if you guys, again, want to watch the other trial with the father, we're definitely going to do that over here. Thank you guys, as always, for rocking with me. Hit that like button. I'll holler at you guys next time.